can remember vividly the one day that my daughter came home from high school crying, and I asked her what was wrong. She said that in class they had had a debate between creationism and evolution, and a girl had said to her in the middle of the debate, in front of her entire class, "The reason that I'm wealthy and you're not is because God wanted it that way." It had nothing to do with the debate, and my daughter wasn't even poor, but that day she learned some things about poverty. She learned that the wealthy do not always work hard to become wealthy. Oftentimes they are born knowing abundance and will never know life without it, just as many poor people will never know what it's like to live with the basic comforts of modern living, like having a roof over their head, clean drinking water, or a satiated feeling after eating as much as they desire. What's more, poverty can happen to anyone, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, creed, and other defining characteristics, and very few people on this planet actively choose to be poor. This is why I consider it to be a major social justice issue. Sometimes you can hide things about your personality to be accepted, but that day, my daughter realized how tough it is to hide your socioeconomic status. A notable quote I read from Keeping Social Justice and Social Work by Frederick G. Reamer, PhD. The primary mission of the social work profession is to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all people, with particular attention to the needs and empowerment of people who are vulnerable, oppressed, and living in poverty. And it's certainly no secret that social workers are definitely accustomed to working with the impoverished. At the micro level, you can see that they are helping individuals and families to change their behaviors and environments that may have led them to becoming impoverished. And at the macro level, just some of the small things you can see are definitely in community development. You'll often see where social workers are helping to expand job training opportunities and job placement. And you'll also see where social workers are helping those that are more fortunate to recognize their own power in this situation, or see that they have their own resources and that they do have the ability to foster their influence and change certain, positive impressions, change the attitude of society as a whole. Social workers are helping them to forge that path and leading the way. Poverty is not a pretty sight, no matter who you are. Whether you're wealthy and you believe that poverty is mucking up the streets with litter and stink, or you're a Democrat who believes that the government isn't doing enough to help those that are less fortunate, or you're a Republican and you believe that the government is taking too much and that's why there are people that are less fortunate. It's not a pretty sight for any of us, and that's part of why it is so important to social work. Social workers see all of the different ramifications of poverty, and I can only cover but so many because they're just infinite. Despite the bleak picture that I've painted when it comes to socioeconomic status and the division between classes, I do definitely still have hope that we can change things, and I believe that we can, and we can do it easily. We already, all of us, spend money. How about we vote with our money and we buy products from companies that pay their employees adequately? Let's look into things. When we buy new clothes that we need, let's not purchase from sweatshops. Or when we buy chocolate because we have a sweet tooth, let's make sure it's a company that uses ethically sourced cocoa and doesn't use child labor to acquire the cocoa that goes into the chocolate. Another thing that we can do is we can be particular about who we choose to donate money to. Lots of organizations mean well, but there are lots of others that it ends up that the person who owns the supposed nonprofit is actually making more money than the people who need the money. Sometimes you'll look into it and maybe for every dollar that's donated, 90 cents goes to the cause. That's actually a really great percentage, but we always just want to be mindful about who we donate to and do our research. It is a lot easier to go through the checkout line at the grocery store and just say yes to donating. But another fantastic thing that we could do is we could volunteer. I know, we're all so busy with life, but volunteering doesn't necessarily have to mean standing there and serving soup at a soup kitchen if that's not something that you find fun. My nephew actually does things for Extra Life, which is an event that they host fundraising and video gaming marathons, and proceeds go to the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Now, I haven't researched into the Children's Miracle Network hospitals on if that is a good organization to donate to or not, but I do believe that time donated, you get to see how you spend that time and you get to see who benefits from your time being spent. And ultimately, when you give, you receive back.